So far you have seen how the people in this Harappan civilization or this Indus Valley civilization used to live. Now let's check out how they earned their daily bread. Well, firstly, their main occupation was farming, right? They had plenty of water thanks to the river Indus, and they used different methods of irrigation. In fact, they even had wells and canals for irrigation. With this irrigation system, they were able to grow crops like wheat, barley, gram, pea, maize, and even mustard. And in fact, they were the first to grow cotton in India. You see, agriculture was solely dependent on the soil quality and the types of tools that were used and advancement in farming methods. Because of this, these people were also the first to use plows, and they also used sickles for farming. Lastly, they also domesticated animals like the one that you can see in this picture, buffaloes, goats, and even sheep. Furthermore, they even plucked fruits like bear and even hunted and caught fish. But that's not all. You see, these people were really good at metal casting as well as stone casting. And some of the most famous sculptures that have been found from the Indus Valley or the Harappan civilization because of excavations are these, the dancing girl and the bearded man. So now let's take a look at each of them. Now, starting with the dancing girl. So, since the Harappan civilization was there in the Bronze Age, which was a metal, so it is very common that metal casting was also done back then. One of the most popular sculptures that have been found in Mohenjo-daro . So, after excavations in Mohenjo-daro, this sculpture was found and she is known as the dancing girl. So why do you think the historians named her the dancing girl? Well, let's see. Her left leg is bent forward, whereas her right leg is bent a bit back. Apart from that, her right hand rests on her hip, right? So historians think that it might be a form of the Tribhanga posture, which is a very common stance taken by the dancers in the Odissi dance form. Right? Now let's take a look at the image again. Well, as you can see, her left hand is fully covered with bangles. So can you see this hand? So these bangles were either made of ivory or bones. Lastly, you can also see that she is holding a small ball against her left leg and is wearing small necklaces, and also that her hair is tied in a bun. So this was the description for the dancing girl. Apart from the dancing girl, a buffalo and a humped bull has also been discovered, which tells us how good the Harappan people were at metal casting. However, they did not just stop at metal casting. They were also good at stone casting, which was done during this Harappan civilization. So now let's take a look at this sculpture. This sculpture is known as the bearded man. Why so? Well, let's see. You can see that a shawl is draped over the left hand and the right arm, right? Apart from that, let's take a look at his well-trimmed beard and his half-shut eyes, right? So because of these things, the historians think that this might be a sculpture of a yogi. So taking a look at this sculpture that has been found after excavations in the Harappan civilization, we can understand how good these people were even in stone sculpting or stone casting. So did you know that the Harappans liked dressing up? You see, women used to wear a shawl and a short skirt held together by a girdle, whereas the men used to wear long unstitched garments. And as you can see from the pictures, they both loved ornaments. Now, the Harappan people did not even stop after metal casting and stone sculpting, right? They in fact were great at terracotta sculpting as well. So this terracotta was a type of clay that was used to make different things. For example, Take a look at this first picture here. This is of Mother Goddess. This is a sculpture that has been found after excavations again, right? So we can see that she has a punched nose and she is also wearing decorative artistic ornaments, right? The Mother Goddess was supposed to bring prosperity and fertility. So it can be said that maybe these people used to worship her, right? Now, apart from that, using terracotta, they also did pottery, and such pottery has also been found from excavations, right? And the Harappans also used to paint things on the potteries. So because of pottery, we can also learn several things about the Harappan civilization. Now, don't you think after making so many different kind of things, they would want to sell it? Well, that is where trade comes in. Trade was an important source of income, right, during that day and age. Apart from that, there was abundance of inland trade and the use of uniform weights and measures, which you can even see here, right? These are the weights and measures that were used by the Harappan people back then, which have been found from several excavations done within the civilization. And these weights were spherical and cubical weights that have been found after excavations. So spherical weights as well as cubical weights have been found from excavations. So now let's take a look at the internal or inland trading that used to happen back then. Firstly, metals like copper and gold and even rice was traded. So the Harappan people did not have the concept of money. So how are things traded? Well, they had the barter system. In this, one trade or one goods and services are traded for in exchange for other things, right? For example, take a look at this picture here. Here you can see a man trading an apple in exchange for a banana. So this is how the barter system used to work, and during those times there was a lot of internal trade within the Indian subcontinent, and so the barter system was practiced. So since we've already seen that the Harappan people were great at metal casting, they were able to create such tools which we can even find today. Furthermore, metal tools, weapons and kitchenware were distributed from Harappa, another city Mohenjo-daro and Lothal, which were the chief centers of metallurgy. These are the places that metal tools and other things made out of metal and weapons and kitchenware were created and then further distributed to other cities. Well, you see, another city that has been discovered from this civilization was Lothal. So in Lothal, a dockyard has been found which stood beside a tributary of the Sabarmati river, and this was discovered in 1954. So let's see. You see, because of the discovery of this dockyard, which you can see here, we can understand that overseas trade was also being practiced by the Harappan people, right? And this Lothal was an important center for making objects out of stone, shell and even metal. And so these things were traded from the dockyard that was found in Lothal. So ships would often come here and boats would come here using the rivers, and the things would be loaded and unloaded, and that's how the trade used to work. So these dockyards were brick built dockyards in a rectangular structure. So because they were also very high, there was protection from floods. And these were built in such a way that they have survived the ravages of time, and so we still get to see such dockyards. And because of this, we can understand that there was overseas trade practiced by the Harappan people. So we know that they were conducting foreign trade, but who were they conducting foreign trade with? Well, foreign trade especially with Mesopotamia. You see, Mesopotamia was another civilization, the Mesopotamian civilization, which was also there at the same time that the Harappan or the Indus Valley civilization was flourishing. So there was a lot of trade happening between both of these civilizations. And this trade was mainly done through water transportation. How do we know this? Well, we have found several such docks, right? So with these docks, we can understand that there were ships and boats traveling through water. So how do we know that these Harappan people were in fact conducting trade with the Mesopotamians? Well, we have some interesting news for you. You see, several seals have been found, such as this one and this one, with the impression of a seafaring ship, a mastless seafaring ship, which have been found, which tells us that they indeed practiced overseas trade even with the Mesopotamians. If you take a closer look at these seals, you can find that they have a ship drawn on them, right? This, and then even this one right here. You can see that ships were built, and so we can understand that such ships were used for trade. And this is how trade used to happen. So this is where the Indus civilization or the Harappan civilization was, and this is where the Mesopotamian civilization was. So using water transport, they were able to conduct overseas trade. Isn't that fascinating? Now, apart from that, several seals of the Indus Valley civilization have been found in Mesopotamia, whereas Mesopotamian seals, such as this one which you can see here, have also been found in the Harappan or the Indus Valley civilization, which tells us exactly how extensive this trade network was between these two civilizations. Now, many Indus Valley seals have been found in dash China, Mesopotamia, or Egypt. Well, the correct answer is Mesopotamia. Many Indus Valley seals have been found in Mesopotamia because trade used to happen between these two civilizations. So, we've already heard about these seals. Well, what exactly are they? Well, they must be important because more than 2000 seals have been discovered. These were generally rectangular or square shape, as you can see in this picture here, and they were usually made of soft soapstones or steatites. So these had various impressions and inscriptions of animals. Take a look at this picture. Even here in this seal you can see that some animal has been made. Well, can you see the holes that are there on these seals? Well, we can understand that a thread was passed through these, and then these seals could have been also worn as amulets. Historians think that these were worn by people to protect them from evil spirits. Along with that, seals were also used as stamps. So this is a stamp, right? And after pressing it on clay, you will get this impression. So we can understand that seals were also used as stamps on official records. One of the most important seals that has been discovered from the Harappan civilization is this Pashupati seal. Take a look at this seal. What can you figure out? Well, we can see that there is a man who has 3 heads, right, or 3 faces, right, and he is wearing a cap or a helmet, right. Along with that, he is sitting in a yogic posture, and there are several animals surrounding the man. This is called the Pashupati seal because of the animals. This man has been identified as Lord Shiva, who is even worshipped today and is considered to be the god of animals, right? So this is one of the most notable seal belonging to this time period. So as more than 2000 seals have been found, these must be important, right? So now let's try to figure out the importance of seals today, right? So because these seals act as an authentic source of information about these Harappan people. How so? Well, let's see. Firstly, the figures that have been engraved on the seals provide information. What kind of information? Well, about their physical features, ornaments, and dressing styles of the people of this Harappan civilization. Furthermore, these seals also explain the religious beliefs of the Harappans. We have already seen the Pashupati seal, right? So, from that seal, we get to understand the religious beliefs of the Harappans, right? Furthermore, they also offer ideas about the commercial activities of the people. For example, we've already seen those seals with ships on them, right? So from that we can understand that these people were conducting trade, not only inland but also with different civilizations outside. So this information comes to us because of the seals, right? Lastly, they also reveal outstanding skills of the artists, because someone made those seals, right? And they were made with such precision that we can understand the skills of the artists. However, there were also some people whose main job was to prepare these seals. These people were known as scribes. These scribes were the people who could write, who knew how to write, and perhaps they even wrote on other materials which have not survived. So now, don't you think these seals are really fascinating? Well, to learn more about these seals, click on the link for the iDictionary feature. So now you must be wondering, how was life in an Harappan city, right? Well, you see, it is likely that the rulers sent people to distant lands to get metal, precious stones and other things that they wanted. The rulers would then keep the important or the valuable metals and stones that were found by these people and keep it for themselves, right? These would include ornaments such as gold and silver, or even beautiful beads. Now, in this civilization, there were also various craftspeople, men and women, who would either be making things using these raw materials in their workshops or in their houses. So, do you know what raw materials are? Well, imagine that you have to bake an amazing cake. What will you do? Well, you will take the ingredients, right? Eggs, milk, chocolate, flour, and many other things, right? And then you will combine all of these things and make the final product, which will be the cake. So that's how raw materials also work. These are artificially created sometimes, or grown by farmers, or can come naturally. For example, cotton, which are grown by farmers, which is a raw material from which we get the clothes that we wear today, right? So these are raw materials. Now the thing is that the Harappan people did not have a lot of raw materials inside their civilization. So to acquire these raw materials that was used by the craftspeople for making different ornaments and jewelry, they would require that they bring these raw materials from outside, right? Because of that, copper was imported, or they got copper from present day Rajasthan and Oman. Other than that, tin from present day Afghanistan and Iran. So you will get the metal bronze if you mix tin with copper, right? So tin was imported, or they got tin from Afghanistan and Iran. They even liked jewelry so much that they imported gold from present day Karnataka, and precious stones were brought in from present day Gujarat, Iran and Afghanistan. So we can understand that a lot of trade was going on in the Harappan civilization, as they were bringing in many different raw materials from different parts of this planet. So far, we have seen that the Harappan people loved making different kinds of ornaments and jewelry using raw material, right? Well, faience is a material that is artificially produced. So it was also a raw material, right? And using faience, these people used to make beads, bangles, earrings, and even tiny vessels. Take a look at this picture here. This is a small faience amulet recovered from this civilization. So there is also a hole here through which a string would pass, and then the people could wear these as amulets. Isn't that interesting to know? So in the beginning, we asked the question, let's find out how did they earn their daily bread, right? Well, now we know exactly how they earned their bread. They were farmers. They were also great at metal casting, stone casting, and even used terracotta for several different things. Apart from that, trade was also booming during the Harappan civilization, right? There was inland or internal trade, and there was also foreign trade, which we can understand by taking a look at various different seals that have been found. So, from all of this, we can actually understand just how great this Harappan civilization truly was. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free on deltastep.com or download the DeltaStep app and get easy access to more than 5,000 amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubts resolved instantly. Learn via games and get a chance to win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So, at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it's rewarding too. So, register for free now.